Welcome, everybody, to the DOD-Cast. This is episode 77.
Oh.
I think.
Come a long way.
77. We're a long way in. That's a lot of
Everyone
time.
started it.
You remember? You remember being like, what was your first thoughts when I first started?
When I first started, I was like, oh, Dan's doing something new. But it also made sense.
It did.
It lined up with who you are as a person.
It did. So, yeah 77. I need you all first, like, subscribe, and follow on everything that you can do that for. I really would appreciate it because it just makes me feel good, like, internally and externally. So today I have on cousin, married man, doctor, valedictorian at MC. What else? Whatever you were. You said a speech. You are a lot of shit. You're a lot of stuff. Musician, even, you could say.
Yeah,
you could say that.
We'll see.
Depends
on who you ask.
Depends on who you ask. Not our family.
Not our family.
But if you ask other people, of course.
My wife tolerates it.
Yeah, she tolerates it, and that's all that matters. She married you, so you're screwed. She's screwed, I mean. But yeah, all these things, all these wonderful titles. Alex O'Donovan, welcome. Welcome. Long time coming.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been trying for a while.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to have kids.
Yeah.
We've been trying.
Not the same day.
And now we're expecting.
Not the same day.
Okay. Actually, that's kind of a massively great segue. Cause
to what?
That's not like that. That's what you do, but like.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me if I was having kids. Was like,
No. No, you need to you still have to doctor.
Need a second. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, you've had a massive, crazy. What is it, like 5-6 months? This year, this 2022 for you has been fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Married, you graduated, moved, new job.
Yeah.
Found
out about job.
And found out about job, yeah. Because you get, people don't realize you get drafted. It's like the NBA draft.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's like the NBA draft, but the player gets to kind of like have some say.
Hey, nowadays sometimes they do, but continue.
But yeah, no, for those who don't know, at the end of med school, you start applying to residencies. You pick the area you want to go into. I went into pediatrics. And then basically how it works out is that you... Oh, hi.
No, you good.
Should I go closer?
No, it's plenty good.
Like
I just needed a little bit. Just a little bit.
But yeah, so basically I interview at all the places. Like I apply, I get interviews to some of them, right? I applied to like 30, got interviews at like half of those. And then from all those interviews, I rank them in order of what I kind of vibe with, and I submit it to, this website. And then all the programs rank everyone they interviewed. And then a computer algorithm pairs you up. So you have to submit everything by I think it was February. I think it was like mid-February. I forget exactly.
I think I remember you telling me about it in Christmas. I'm kind of
we were kind of figuring out the game plan. So you interview from October to end of January. You submit them in February, and then you wait.
And then
you wait till mid-March. It's I think mine was March 18th. I think was match day. And at that time, they have all the med students, and this is nationwide. So my school, I went to Penn State for med school, so we were all in one auditorium with our family. So I was with my parents and my wife, or fiance at the time.
This is so crazy.
And my godmother, and we were all hanging out there. And then they give us all an envelope. They call us up one by one to get an envelope with our name on it, and we stand there. And then at noon, they do a countdown. So at 11:50, they're like, okay, 10-second countdown. They go 10, 9. And we get to noon, and I open up my envelope, and it tells me where I'm moving.
That's very crazy.
Yeah, so mine said Yale, and I moved from Hershey, Pennsylvania to New Haven, Connecticut. I had 2 months to do all that, because then I started work mid-June.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
and that's nationwide. So while Penn State did it there, every med school in the country was doing it on the same exact time on the same day.
Wow, that's a big day.
Oh, it's huge. I would say it's bigger than graduation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because when you graduate, you graduate, but you knew before, during, after. It's all kind of not the information doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's just a day, to celebrate it. Whereas this is you don't know before. Mm-hmm. You learn the second of, and that's why it's the moment. And then you still have shit to do. Plenty more shit after than before, probably.
I would argue it got significantly busier afterwards.
I could imagine.
Yeah,
I could imagine.
Because in addition to planning the whole wedding,
So that's
we'll get to
another
that.
thing.
We had to move, we had to find a place. Cody, my wife, had to find a job, so she was
That's
looking for
also true.
teaching jobs like in March.
That's a
But yeah,
lot. Because it's not just you. It's also, this is like Cody's adventure.
She's been
As
dragged
well.
along.
She's been dragged. So like, sorry, Cody. I really do apologize. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but congratulations on the wedding, I guess. So then you also you that all happens. You find out where you're going, and in the meantime, you have to plan a whole wedding.
Yeah. Luckily, Cody did most of that because I was a
Yeah.
little focused on other things.
But you also, knowing who you are, you needed say. Like at least in most decisions.
I think most of it. You'd be surprised. I think most of it was my mom needing say.
Yeah.
So
that also makes sense.
So
because I know her too.
my mom had a lot of say, and it was
It's
or a lot of attempts to have say.
Yeah.
There were certain things where my stubbornness won over her stubbornness,
which is
so,
great.
yeah.
And
I
know
it came out great. Love you, Mom.
like I know the day I get married, I won't know where we're going. Like I won't know the venue. I won't know what food we're getting. I just know that about myself.
And for most of the wedding, like that was the case for me too, because like Cody picked Newport, Cody picked the food. There were things where like we had to discuss like certain foods being on there, and that's what we took into parents' accounts. But yeah, at the end of the day, everyone was happy and people hit the dance floor nonstop. And Daniel was my best man, so
I was the best man.
So I don't know if you want to cut in the best man speech right here.
I would do that. Oh, maybe I should do that. Should I put the whole best man speech right now?
I think I
might.
Should. I support it.
It was a pretty good best man speech.
You have my okay. So if you want to throw that bad boy in there.
My goal is to be the best man at like 15 weddings.
Oh yeah.
I want to just make like a ton of best friends and just like always be best man. I must be at the top of like
Catherine's man of honor.
The man of honor. I have one friend.
Fight out Elizabeth for it.
My friend that lives here, Haley, she has a girl. She wants to be her maid of honor, but she has like public speaking issues. Like she don't want to. Like she don't want to do like the maid of honor speech. So your boy, we've been in conversations. Like maybe if that day were to come, that I might have to be laying down. I may have to feature on that album. I may have to feature. A lot of fun. Also, but real quick before we get away from the food at your wedding was.
Did you enjoy it,
dude? Where did you get it catered from?
Oh god,
you know how
B&M.
Did you feel like it was really good too?
I thought it was great.
I was shocked. Not like
some of the Italians had other opinions.
Yeah, well they're Italian. Come on now. Like they're probably like, Mom, where's the sauce?
Bippity boop.
Bippity boopity boppy bye.
But they wanted Italian stuff, which was never going to be the vibe. Because
how are we gonna prepare raviolis beforehand?
We wanted to be more of a party, so we wanted to outside. Everyone hit the dance floor. We wanted just quick barbecue kind of style.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
Which is what it was, and people hit the dance floor the whole time.
Oh, I was dancing the storm.
There were certain things where we just decided not to do in the moment because people were having so much fun on the dance floor. For the cake cutting, we were we told the DJ, yo, announce it, but let them keep dancing, and we'll just.
Yeah, I remember it was a great idea too, because I was because the vibes were nice on the dance floor. You don't want to stop it. And cake is more for you guys. That's it can be it's a nicer moment that way. I think I still was over there to see it too. So I hopped out. I saw a cake cut and I was like, I gotta go see someone getting it in the face.
The funniest part was that the DJ still played dance music, but he just played cake.
Cake. That's a good song.
And everyone was still dancing, and I think half the crowd didn't pick up that we were actually cutting the cake.
Yeah. They were just oh, yo,
this song is sick.
While you guys were feeding each other the cake. Did you guys do the thing? No.
Cody.
She get you a little bit?
I looked at Cody. I was like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I'll do it back, and I'm going to be worse.
Yeah, you would do that.
And she immediately went and just right in my face.
Yeah.
And so I took the cake, and I went up. She's like, don't mess up my makeup. I was like, okay. And I went up her nose.
I don't remember you going up the nose. I think I saw you get caked, and then I was like, I'm good. I probably walked away after that.
I was
that's all I
needed.
needed.
You said no, don't mess up the makeup.
So I was your best man. And some people, I feel like a lot of people in my life, they know, especially right now, probably who you are more because I don't talk about my family that much. I talk about you guys in general. I don't go in. There's
The
too many
Donovan
of you to
squad.
go individual all the time. I'd say the one that gets brought up the most might be Sheamus though,
Probably.
just because he can do a backflip.
Can he still do a backflip?
Yes. This is what I'm talking about. The fact that he can do a backflip is the most fascinating fact I know. So he's the only one that comes up individually. You come up a lot because you're a doctor. Kaylee comes up a lot because she's a teacher. But like mostly in general, I'm speaking of you guys generally. If I'm speaking of you guys, but some people may not know that we're basically brothers. Essentially, you know.
Our sisters were attached at the hip.
So yeah, I was just gonna say, do you want to describe how that happened?
Basically, Liz and Kaylee are the same age.
Yes.
And so as they got older, that's who we hung out with. It was Liz and Kaylee and Alex alone.
Right.
And then 7 years. We got what? It was 3 years. How much older is Kaylee than you?
5.
5 years. So 5 years go by from their birth, and I'm still just riding solo.
Yeah, only boy, really.
And then finally Daniel popped out, and I had a friend.
Yeah, you had someone to attach to.
Someone I could hang out with.
And
you guided to hang out with me.
You guided me through childhood.
Oh yeah.
I feel like your influence is probably like, I'd say your male influence is probably about a sixth of the influence that's been bestowed upon me. I'd say a sixth goes to you.
What's that? I call Mike like 3, 6.
My dad's like half, and then Pops is another 6th,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 2. Maybe he's the 2/6 rest.
Yeah.
6, and then a 6, and then a 6. Maybe like 2/6 to my dad, 2/6 to Pops, and then that last 6 to the rest of the boys. It's in general. But I'd say you definitely, because we just did so much shit. Like you brought me to do like this. This was really cool. I'll never forget. You bringing me to like your birthday parties and stuff as a kid.
I did everything.
It was awesome. It was amazing.
Well, it like worked out because Elizabeth would not go unless Kaylee was there, so they had to accommodate, and we were like, well, just bring Daniel too.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, why not?
Why we just leave Daniel at home? Like,
Can't do that. So I got to tag along to a lot of that stuff, and then like you take me to like movies and stuff. That's when we started watching like the Marvel movies. When did we? What was the first? You went and watched them all. Have you seen them all in theaters?
Everyone but the original Thor I've seen in theaters. I wasn't super into it.
Like
I was like into it, but like I missed it. I think because I was in 8th grade when Iron Man came out. Yeah, so
you love Iron Man. Is that your favorite?
My favorite, absolutely.
He's the best actor. Like, I think his character is the most like.
I think so. Like the original Iron Man, still in like my top 5.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I rewatched a lot now. Like I don't know why. Like it's been hitting more recently as I get older. I think it's like a piece of the narcissism is like enviable. Like every part of every. I don't know if it's just guys. I think it is because I don't think girls really attract to it. But like, I just like. I want to see.
Really into it.
I want to see a narcissist that like can pull through. Like if
he's had a rough life in general, already.
For sure. So. Like if you're that like cocky, and it turns into a confidence because he can pull through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love him.
He's awesome. He's awesome. Like, the character's so great too.
And he meets everyone in the Avengers, and just the one-offs he gives to like everyone. Like,
yeah.
It's like Doth Mother know you wear it the drapes.
He's so fun. And he also is like he's definitely the best actor of like the bunch of them, and I think that's probably why he's the best. And do you think so this is a good question. Do you think you could ever like recast an Iron Man?
No. There's certain ones that can't be recast. I don't think Iron Man, like RDJ is always going to be Iron Man. I think whoever has to do Wolverine next is going to have a rough time.
That's a tough one. I mean, he's reprising the role for now, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I texted you about that.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be. That means my movie's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Deadpool is just gonna be great.
He's
gonna be in the MCU now.
Yeah, Deadpool, oddly enough, would be a tough one at some point too.
I think also, yeah. I don't think anyone.
Because Ryan Reynolds does it so perfect.
Well, it's like I think Deadpool's like designed in the comics, and I don't read comics, so this could be wrong.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure he's designed to look like Ryan Reynolds in the comics.
Yeah, they did the same thing for I think they wanted what's his name? John Krasinski. Like in the comics they started making him look like that.
Yeah.
Fury used to be white. They started making him look like Samuel L. Jackson so that Samuel L. Jackson would do it.
Yeah, so like I saw something, was it TikTok or some interview where they were saying like basically Sam Jackson saw that they started making like this alternate Nick Fury look like him, and the only reason he didn't sue is because he made a deal with him. He's like, okay, if you make a movie though, I'm Nick Fury,
And
he made plenty of money from that.
You know what always gets me? So I was watching the first Iron Man. You know, the dude that I don't even know his name. He got replaced by Don Cheadle though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Imagine the bag he threw by not signing.
Well, he made more than RDJ in the first movie.
So
He wanted.
He was a big actor though, wasn't he? And
was.
RDJ was looking for like a redemption shot.
What was his name?
I don't know his name. He's famous though, very famous.
Yeah, I'm
Should I
blanking.
look it up?
No, I mean if you want to, I know his name. Why am I blanking? I don't know. But yeah, basically he wanted more money the next movie, and RDJ was like, "Listen, this movie's only exists because of me." So
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard, there. Thank you.
He's extremely famous, but I just feel like he must have like missed out on. Think of all the movies Don Cheadle's done out of that. Like,
and he's getting his own
6
movie.
movies?
They just announced an individual War Machine movie. Yeah, it was gonna be a TV show on Disney Plus, but then they did like, and they made a whole movie.
Honestly, the Disney Plus series are very hit or miss so far.
Yeah, I think so. I've enjoyed them all though.
I haven't watched She-Hulk yet.
Like.
I haven't watched She-Hulk yet.
I like She-Hulk. I think it's very divisive, but I like it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna like She-Hulk.
I find something to like in everything. Like it's,
yeah, me too.
It's good.
If it's a superhero, bro, it's superheroes. Like, how could that not be entertaining?
You watched Daredevil, right?
Yes, I did. I watched the first season of Daredevil.
You like She-Hulk?
Really?
Yeah.
Because is he in it? Oh, he might be. Who knows?
I mean, he was in the trailers. So
yeah, he was.
I don't know.
Well, it actually popped up on like Marvel, like
only one episode though.
So sometimes
someone's swimming.
People go to the bathroom here, and these pipes have the water, so there's poop or piss, either one, going through those pipes. I think that was a pee though, because it was very fluid.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear like a foam.
There wasn't a lot of viscosity in that one. So.
Someone's dropping nukes sometimes though. I want to say it's Nick.
Kerplunks.
Yeah, a lot of kerplunks. Hey, I wonder what it sounds like when I go to the bathroom. Hey, this is a little crass. Let me know if you want me to stop. I went to the bathroom the other day. Oh my God. Right? No, seriously. Oh, okay. I went to the bathroom the other day.
Yeah,
dead serious. Like 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I pooped. Right? And ready? I'll stop once it's time to stop. That big. This came out of my ass. And it's not like it was like a thin one either. It's not like it got thinned out. Like, you know, if you take like Play-Doh, if you take a little thing like this, you could thin it out and it would be longer, but like it's all the same. No. It was like a good cylinder to it, all the way to the end. Little, and it ends off kind of like a burrito, because like it's got the sphincter's got to open and close. So it comes out like this. And here's why this is funny. So I did that. I pooped. It flushed. Congrats.
Yeah.
30 minutes later, I needed to poop.
You might be dying.
And then I pooped again, like a good, maybe this big this time. And I was just like, well, I hadn't pooped in like 3 days. So you're a doctor, right? So why I'm asking you this is
so you wanted to wait until we were on camera for you to ask me this question.
Yeah. Is that normal?
I think you might be dying.
So here's the thing. Yeah. Is this a thing in doctor world?
What?
When I'm in a new location, like when I first got to school, I didn't poop for like 4 days. Maybe a week.
Maybe you're just nervous, Dan.
Does that keep you from pooping?
Maybe.
What do you know? What do you not telling me?
I'm sure. Stress can do a lot of things to the. What were you eating? Were you eating like crap?
I probably wasn't eating much.
Yeah, you probably
because I was stressed
no
out.
No fiber.
Fiber, right?
Like a fruit once in a while.
Who didn't? What? What's a fruit?
A vegetable.
Here's another question for you.
Just straight pizza and cheese. Is that what
if I did eat just
Has anyone talked on this podcast about your yogurts?
No, actually.
So Daniel, his whole life and still now, still actually happens. He gets these yogurts, and it's like not like the healthy kind. It's like the ones that are basically ice cream with like Oreos on the top, and he puts it in there, and he eats about 5 of them. And he stacks them.
I would never eat 5. That's not a number.
He would stack.
I'd eat 6
or
or 4.
4 or 6.
I don't eat 7.
And he would stack them. But we'd go on vacation, and his mom would like bring them because if he couldn't have his yogurts, he'd flip. And so have to go.
I think
you'd walk into his
This-
little playroom at his house, and he'd be sitting there.
It is
By the way, this was like
funny.
yesterday too. It was like so.
It is funny that there was always a yogurt in front of me. 2 yogurt. Well,
It's always two. It was never one.
Nah, the standard was 2
They're like
yogurts.
400 calories each.
I'd put them back together. I'd put the yogurt thing back together so it wouldn't like spill. Like, there's no like empty containers. It looks clean. And then I'd put them down and I'd put my spoon on the top of the two.
Yeah.
Is that autism?
I'm not diagnosing you.
No
right
comment.
now.
No comment
No
on
comment
autism.
on that.
I just feel like there's like some issues I have that I'm looking to be explained by medicine.
Oh yeah.
And I've yet to get answers.
Unfortunately, you're approaching out of my age range. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, so what's your age range between something and 25?
it's like around 25. But like
Really,
if you're like under 8, if you're like 18 or younger, you go to pediatrics, and if you're older, you probably go to adults. But like there's definitely cases where I've had a little bit of both.
I need a new
had a
doctor.
21-year-old.
My doctor retired on me.
I can't see you.
Why?
Family can't take care of family.
Is that a conflict of interest?
Yes.
Isn't it like? Isn't that like?
Actually
I feel like
exactly
that
what
should
it
be
is.
like a right of interest. Like you should be very intrigued in keeping me alive theoretically.
Oh yeah.
Then again, most murders happen within family, right?
Yes.
So
I thought
really,
about it.
you know. So really, like like I just feel like I don't know if I could trust you
Mm.
with my life in your hands.
Well, it's also like
Have you saved lives?
Think it. I'm not gonna think of you coming in and like telling me about this little like bowel movement story you
I
just
did.
shared, and me looking at you and laughing and then not prescribing you a single thing. Can you imagine that's how the appointment would go?
I mean,
You'd come in.
I
I'd
wish
still charge you because I earned that money for listening to that story.
you charge me.
Yeah, no freebies.
I need.
I'll give you some
Hey,
Miralax,
This
maybe.
is a freebie. I just got a free medical session with a certified pediatric doctor. So yeah.
Not certified pediatric. Just
So what's it like to be a doctor on a day to day?
I mean, right?
A week.
So it's different,
in
right?
life.
Because I told you there's different like levels. So like
There's levels to this.
residency is what I'm in now. I'm a first year resident, so
That's
I'm
the
like
bottom of the barrel.
the literal bottom of the barrel for all doctors. And so I'm technically it's like an intern. I don't know if you watch any like medical shows.
Oh,
So
Grey's Anatomy.
yeah, I've never seen that.
It's pretty good.
Speaking of that, side note, Cody met the creator of that show.
Really?
Freaked out,
It's a great show.
Yeah,
It's a great show.
Cody freaked out.
A
She's
lot of
upset.
very illegal. It's like it's not
like
very.
yesterday.
It's not
She met her, like,
extremely
2 weeks ago.
accurate in terms of like what's legal and what's not. But I think like the path of which you'd go up and like how like the roster moves around the medical roster.
I think they got the
it's,
hierarchy.
I
well.
think the hierarchy's pretty good. So I think
Yeah.
I'm with you. You're a
You're
resident.
good, you're good. Yeah, so I'm an intern,
Intern.
and then which is also a resident. It's just a first year resident, and then so depending on the residency you go into, there's a certain number of years. So pediatrics is 3 years of residency. So at the end of the 3 years, I could just go be a pediatrician. Like
Is that a lot? What's a lot?
That's
Cardio's gotta be like.
No, so cardio is a fellowship. So I'll get into that. So it's like
Ah.
I could be a pediatric cardiologist if I wanted to.
Right.
So for residencies, there's pediatrics, which is
Gero.
3 years. There's internal medicine, which is 3 years, and that's like adults. So that's where you do all the subspecialties from there too. And then like surgery, depending on the type of surgery, could be like 5 to 7 years of residency.
Okay.
And then after that, you can stop and just be a general whatever. So like pediatrics, I could just be a general pediatrician, like Dr. Matt. Like
Dr.
that's-
Matt.
Yeah, so he did 3 years residency, and he was done.
making bread.
He was doing good.
He wore
And
some
then
so cool ties.
he had a lot of cool ties. But then I want to do endocrinology, so that's a subspecialty. So I have to
Okay.
I have to basically
That's
the whole application thing I just did. I got to do it again at the end of 3 years.
to get drafted again.
You get drafted again. Yeah,
What the fuck? You're moving
So-
again?
potentially?
Holy shit.
So
Poor
I mean,
Cody.
I could hypothetically stay at Yale.
Yeah.
I could come closer to home.
In a perfect world, you're
I mean, the goal is to
Boston
work in
area.
Boston long term.
And that's
where
that.
I'm
But that,
from.
and it's where you're from. It's also the best place to be.
Yeah, my
Which is
family's
really
there,
cool.
and Cody's family's there, and it just makes more sense. but-
Yeah. I mean, I bet that.
Yale's great, so-
I bet that the what's it called? Take that into effect too.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's like you can talk about it in like interviews and stuff, and they definitely make a note of like if you're from there. It helps.
And because it also keeps your your loyalty must be like much higher if you're in the area, and also just like I don't know. It's just more convenient. Like if you need
Yeah.
you don't need 2 days for the holidays. You need one because you're right there. You don't gotta travel to
I
Colorado.
gotta drive. I mean, I drove 2.5 hours for this podcast.
Yeah. You did. 2.5 hours just to be here with
Just
me.
for Daniel.
There's no other reason
Just for
you're here
Daniel.
right now. So you get a week off right now?
I have 2 weeks off.
2 weeks off. So
Yeah,
they
so
give
it's a
that to you
block
randomly?
schedule.
Or do you
I mean, I
choose?
request it. So we get a total of 4 weeks off a year. This is just at my
You're doing
residency.
2 and 2?
So, but it's like 2 and 2. So it's 4 weeks total, but 2 and 2. And so like I tried to space it out. So I had these 2 weeks off, and then 2 weeks off in April.
That's
Tried
nice.
to align it with Cody's spring, April break.
That's awesome.
But she goes to the one school that does it in March. So
No.
we'll both be on vacations at different times.
That sucks.
And we still haven't done our honeymoon yet, so we're gonna try to do that in August.
Yeah, I mean, honeymoon, as long as you I think you gotta talk about it once a week. Keep it in your minds. And as long as it happens, it happens. That's kind of how you just need it to happen. That's all. It doesn't matter exactly when. You guys are too busy to be doing it.
I mean,
Right away. You
I can
couldn't have.
request. Like I know my schedule a year in advance, so like I know when I'm working until the end of May.
Does that make you sick to your stomach, or is that just me?
And just knowing what rotations I'm about to go on and how long I'm gonna be in the hospital. So like I was like we're like capped at like 80 hours a week. And like the past month I've been on the general pediatrics floors, so like just like the general hospital stuff, kind of the whole mix. And like some days I'd get there at 5:30 in the morning. And some days I'd like the shift ends at 4, but you gotta sign out, so you really leave at like 4:30. So that's one shift. But then the other days you get there at 5:30 in the morning and you don't sign out till 8 p.m. So you don't leave until 8:30, 9 o'clock, signing out. And every 2 days I would switch. So like for 2 days I get off at 4, 2 days I get off at 8, 2 days I get off at 4. And so like the days you get off at 8, you literally just like come
Do they
home,
feed you there?
No.
That's some bullshit.
So there's a calf. I just go down
That's
and get some
bullshit.
food.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. They should.
I usually forget about dinner. If I have the 8 p.m. shifts, I forget
Yeah.
about dinner and I just eat at home.
That makes sense. What is the? Speaking of food, dude. Let me ask my question first. I'll get to the
A
food
little
after.
ADD in this conversation. It's fine.
Little ADD in this conversation. Do you know who you're talking to? See, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I need medicine to tell me that I'm stupid. So
ADD is not stupid.
don't help. It don't help. It helps with some things. Don't help with this. I'm a great multitasker.
I think I also have ADD.
We all do.
Yeah.
On our family, we all
Genetics.
do. That's genetic. It's genetically proven. What I will say is, what I was gonna ask. You're a doctor. What is the best part about being a doctor? And I don't mean that like to save lives, because
The generic
obviously,
answer. I want to help people.
yeah, that's some I mean, not that it's bullshit. It's true. It's true. That's what every doctor has. Two things. They like to save the life, and they got an ego.
Thanks, Dan.
If you didn't, I wouldn't want you in the hospital. You gotta have an ego. I think you
The
need
best.
to be like, you need to
Best of
feel
the
like you're the
best.
best, because you need to perform at the best. So, yeah, I think that's a good thing. So, but what about like, what is something that you didn't expect maybe?
I think it depends on who you talk to, right? Because like a surgeon's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like, I want to cut. Right? They enjoy the surgery. You could not get me farther away from the OR. Like,
Really?
When I was in med school, it was just awful. I hated it.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like with me, like I like kids and I think it's fun. Like with kids, they bounce back pretty well for the most part. So like they come in looking like death, and then like a couple days later, they're like a baby coming
Yeah.
in looking like absolute crap, and like just like pale and breathing hard and like not drinking, not eating, and then like a couple days in the hospital with just like the supportive care we do, and they're like fully back to normal, like playing with you, making jokes.
It's
and
amazing.
stuff. And it's great. There's plenty of downsides where like the kid doesn't make it.
Yeah.
I've had a few of that,
It has the high. Yeah, that's just the
but
duality of life. The highest highs come with the lowest lows.
but-
Because if it can get that good, it can get that bad.
yeah.
So it's tough. But I
like
can
the
imagine that.
characters. Like with the kids with personality are always the best ones. Like because you're goofing around with them and they're like making jokes with you.
You can kind of like just have fun almost.
Yeah, and like
Your job is to, because you have to make it light.
you have to make it like you have to chill and you have to break it down. So like I know stuff in the medical terminology, but like you have to explain it in a way that like someone who didn't go to school for as long as I did can understand.
You got any right now?
Like what? You gotta ask me
Like
about
what if you had to explain diabetes to a 6-year-old?
That's an easy one. I've been doing that for a long time.
That's why I asked you diabetes, because you have diabetes. Also, he's super diabetic.
Type 1.
Type 1. Type 1. The crazy kind. The kind you can't just quit. It's like addiction. You're addicted to diabetes.
Yeah, I'm addicted to it.
I love it. So, well, how would you explain diabetes to like a 6-year-old?
6-year-old? Yeah, so
Like, whatever.
basically, insulin is a hormone that your body makes, and it acts like a key to get sugar into cells. So in type 1 diabetes, your body killed the insulin making cells, so you don't have it.
Right.
So you can't get sugar into the cells.
So you just kind of break it down to those basic levels.
Yeah, basically.
Key.
But honestly, like, and I got
keywords.
I learned this from like the education masters I got last year. Like drawing it out makes a huge difference too. So like kids drawing a picture. Like when I was diagnosed with type 1, they drew me a picture and made it a lot more simple.
Little did they know they were making a doctor.
Oh yeah, and even like breaking down like things like asthma and stuff like that. Like just kind of showing like literally what it means just by like drawing like an airway. It helps a lot.
2 things.
What?
So you're a doctor. Do you feel like it is a direct cause of your diabetic life that you've lived?
Like it's a result. You're saying? Like, probably.
Like, do you think you? So, like, I'll just ask the other question because it's
like why I became a doctor. Is that what you're...
No.
Okay.
Because I think I have a decent understanding. It's more. So you wanted to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Initially, biomedical, but an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel like it's diabetes pulling you in either direction. Because either way, it's the diabetes. Do you wonder, like, if you never were diagnosed, what kind of like path you would have gone down?
Probably all the time. I would not.
Do you have any idea of what it would be? Like, any other passions or interests that like?
Not really.
You ever thought about?
No, I actually have no idea what I'd do. I think I probably would have ended up as an engineer.
But like just like maybe like whatever, like architect or
one
something.
Of the fields, yeah, I could probably end up that way.
That's
good at math and science.
Rocket science. You could literally do rocket science.
I have a lot of friends that work for SpaceX and stuff.
Oh, you want to help my friend get a job? No, my friend John, he went here. He's super genius. He does, and he literally like I didn't know he was really smart because he talks very slow. So like when someone doesn't,
a lot of processing going on in that brain.
That's how you know they're really smart. Me, I'm babbling. It's just coming out. I like to think there's a lot of processing, but there's no filter.
Yeah.
He has a filter and it's processing. Maybe he's smarter than me though. So he and then like he told me, he was like, yeah, I have to build a rocket for my final. And I was like, you have to do what? He literally had to build like a little makeshift rocket. He had to build a drone for another final. I was like, yo, what are you talking about? My capstone is I have to like build a marketing plan as to how to like bring AMC back, and everyone knows it's not gonna work. So like there's no penalty. Plan. There's no fault in what I do. Whereas he has to build a drone. It's just like very unique. But when he told me that, he was like, yeah, I do aerospace. I'm like, are you telling me you're a rocket scientist, John? I was like, so if someone says to you, it's not rocket science, you're like, I wish it is. I wish it was, because I understand this shit.
Yeah, no, my friends worked they were on like the BU rocket team.
The rocket team?
Yeah. And they
Team like Rocket.
Different. So like they were on the BU rocket team, and they like, they would spend like late hours building these like massive rockets. And there was one time where like they couldn't close the rocket because a bunch of nerds build the rocket team, and they were like, do you have like some like bigger friends to like help us close this rocket? So it was like midnight, and I brought like my buddies who were in the ROTC program.
Yeah.
We all walked over and like, helping them shut this rocket.
Did you guys do it?
Yeah, we got it shut.
Oh, the poor nerds.
We had to hold it in place so they could like drill it. I mean, the thing was huge. Like it definitely needed more manpower anyway. It was massive.
I like that shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Is that a polo shirt? Is that what it's called?
I think it's a rugby shirt.
Rugby shirt, right. You played rugby.
I did play rugby.
But like, is that why you wear those?
No, I just bought it. It looked nice.
That's sick. I was looking at shirts like that. I wanted a yellow one I wanted like yellow and white.
Did you get it? H&M is selling them.
How much did you buy that for?
It was like $30.
That's pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
That's pretty good.
I'm pretty cheap, so like if the shirt's too expensive, I'm not gonna buy it. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty cheap too. I think that's a family thing as well, right? It's gotta be.
Depends on. My sisters seem like they spend a little more money on clothes.
Well, they're girls, you know. Their clothes mean more to them. I'm sure they haven't bought, I bought more Xbox stuff than they have. They probably look at me buying.
You use my stuff as a discount for your Xbox stuff, so.
All right.
So Daniel is what you would call a piece of shit, and he took my games that I lent him to play to give back, and then he sold them to GameStop.
Yo, you want
so he could buy an Xbox One.
Yeah, you want the 650, dog? Do you want the 650?
I would love my 650.
You know what? Yo, that's what I was gonna say. So, this is actually. It sounds like a conversation we shouldn't be having on the podcast, but it will be because it's good food locations. What kind of food do you want after this?
I'm game for anything. You said you know the spots.
I know all the spots.
Show me the best that Lowell has to offer.
The best. Hey, actually, it's in Tewksbury, the place I was thinking of.
Make me drive. Okay.
But it's only like 15 minutes. It's a light drive. It's only like a couple.
Am I driving you?
Yes, you are. Well, my car. I need my inspection sticker because it expired in August. So I've been driving around in a bum car, and you know what I do? I move my windshield wiper over it, so it's just like it just crosses over it, even though they can obviously see the color and they know the colors. In fact, they actually only know the colors. They can't really see the numbers driving by. They can see the color. No, but I still do that.
Really?
Yeah. Alex, you possess a really strange. You know what I think you'd be? This is kind of another part of the conversation. I think you'd be a teacher.
I don't know if I would.
Like, I think you'd find something because
you're
say definitely that, but
then
type...
like when I tried to help Catherine with like her homework and stuff, and she gets like a little annoyed, I get annoyed, and I feel like we should.
Well, your brother too. Yeah. That's a little sis. So it's kind of hard to like. Mm-hmm. You get frustrated with your family. You have to deal with them all the time. So it's really frustrating because like you just want to be able to tell them. But if it's someone else, like think about like your patience. Think about how good you are with your patience. That's what I was thinking. Like, you know, obviously, like my sister comes home and she gets called like stupid and like a bitch, like by like fifth graders. But I think you'd be because you like to master like things, and then like get really good at them, and then you also. You get this from your dad. You like to talk about them. You like to teach people about these things. So I feel like you'd be a good teacher.
At the detriment of Cody, who I'm teaching medical stuff.
Right, like you get home, you're like...
We're having a beer, and we're at the restaurant, and I'm like, oh, yeah, so, you know, asthma is a...
The heart does this and that.
The heart goes...
And then when it goes... My friends took a test today. All the nurses took a test about, like, the different heart rhythms, like the heartbeats and all that, like... Tachycardia, bradycardia, whatever, all that shit.
That just means fast and slow heart.
Yep, that's all. Hey, that's what they have to do. And like they had like a lot of them. They were all bugging out about it. I was like, Alex would have aced this shit.
It's hard to no. Actually, it's still very hard to do.
Is it?
This heart sounds are really hard. Like like I rotated in cardiology like this year, and like. After like as a doctor walking in there listening to hearts, like, I don't know if
I have
hear
no
that.
clue what that is.
Luckily, there's like as a resident, there's always like someone else listening too because I'm still technically in training, and they're like, oh, I hear like one out of two systolic murmur in the right upper sternal part. I'm like, okay.
They know that shit.
Oh yeah, they memorize. Like they like hearing like, oh yeah, it's a systolic murmur. Like that's aortic stenosis. What are you thinking about? I'm like, sure.
You're like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I got that written.
That too.
I got that written down over here. Let me just check it off.
Yeah, and I walked in there. I'm like, I think it's a Like I was like, oh, I think it's this kind of murmur, and they're like, it's not. It's the opposite. I'm like, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm done. I got it.
So here's the thing. This is we can relate on this. You ready to relate, me and you?
Sure, Dan.
So I like to think of myself as smart.
Mm-hmm. You're smart.
Right. I think so. Everyone in my life that I keep around is really smart, though. So in a world where everyone's a genius, all my friends are nurses, and I feel like being a nurse and still being in the program, graduating, they're all gonna graduate on time or early.
Nursing's such a tough job.
I think that if you can do that, you have to have a certain mental capacity that I don't even know if I could do that. I got doctors, teachers, both your sisters are probably smarter than me. Let's be completely honest. Everyone that I know is smarter than me, even though I'm really smart. I just keep really smart people around me, I guess. My family so happens to be also very smart. So you fancy yourself as smart, right? I'd assume.
I guess, yes.
So you go into the hospital, and you're now the dumbest person in there?
Yeah, big time.
What's that like?
Well, I mean, it's, you like, in high school I thought I was smart, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like compared to like a whole variety of people. And like I'm in like the honors and stuff. Then I went to college in the engineering, and I was like equal in intelligence to everyone in the room. And you feel stupid.
And you're
And
like,
then I went to med school where like
now you're stupid.
I'm like, am I equal to intelligence and everyone in the room? And I'm like, okay. And like people are saying stuff. I was like, where did you? What? I'm like, and I'm like half asleep because I just studied for like a whole week. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then like you get like these crazy answers. And now I'm like a resident where like at like Yale, which is like a really great program. So I'm even with like the best.
You look like 30
like,
year vets, you know.
And I'm like, oh my god, like people are just saying stuff. I'm like, it's okay. Sure, yeah, I was totally thinking that as well. And then you talk to like the attendings who have been like, so like an attending is a doctor who's like finished all that training. So like it's a resident, a fellow, and an attending. Those are basically the three classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so an attending is like they've been there for like what 15, 20 years already. In addition to residency and med school and fellowship and all this stuff, and they're like just talking to you about facts and the like citing papers off from memory. I was like, oh, this study done by this place and like this year, like said that we should actually do this, and I'm sitting there like, oh, okay,
yeah, I read that too.
Yeah, all right, I totally have read papers.
Yeah. You
I've
wrote a
had
couple.
So much time to read papers. Yeah, I've read a few, but like you kind of need to in med school.
Yeah, I also so with that in mind, so you have now been, how long have you been doctoring?
I started in June, so what is that, like
a couple months now.
5 months, I think.
How much? Because I know a lot of what you learn happens within the first like 6 months of being somewhere, and then the rest is like, because you have to learn, there's just a huge gap of being from nothing to 6 months in, and then 6 months to like, you probably wouldn't learn that much again until another like 5 years. What do you think? How much do you feel like you've advanced in just a small window of time? Like, how much do you?
In the past 5 months, I think like the thing about residency is like in medical school you learn all the info, and you have to like. I think one of my professors in med school, where I think said it best, is like, med school you're not necessarily learning to memorize every fact about the human body. You're learning to know where to look it up. Right, because like we have like the doctors have the resources, they have like the baseline knowledge bank of like, oh, like I know where to read further about this, so I can be. And there's like the bread and butter stuff. Like right now in the hospital, everyone has asthma and bronchiolitis, and they're calling it like Asthmageddon.
Really, is that like a thing?
Yeah, and I'll get into that, but like it's like you learn where to like put the info and where to store it, so you can pull from it. And you go to residency and you have that like baseline info because you've taken a million tests to prove that you know enough to go into residency.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about learning logistics. It's a lot about learning hierarchy, like how to order medicines, how to like put in order, how to like, be efficient with time, and like seeing all the patients and getting all the info you need. But also like, oh crap, I don't remember that fact, but you know where to look it up. So it's a lot of like, I feel like I've learned a ton logistical wise, but I still feel like I'm, like every month I switch to a new rotation where I feel dumb again. So I just spent like a month on the floor. So I've done clinic. I've done time in like the new baby nursery. I've done time in like the neonatal ICU, which is like the sicker nursery. Yeah. And then I've done the floors in the emergency department. I spent a month in the emergency department.
That's interesting.
And like now I'm on vacation now, but then I head over to the pediatric ICU, which is gonna be like the sickest kids. You know? And I feel like as soon as I felt pretty good by the end of this past month.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I could do this. And then I went, but as soon as I start in the
will you rotate back through all these things?
Yeah, every
as
year.
Time goes.
So I have another. Yeah, so it depends on like the more like important things like the floors and stuff. I'll have another one this year, but like a lot of these things I'll see again next year.
So you feel like you're maybe like, all right, when I get back here, is that what you're kind of thinking when you go to the next place? You're like, when I get back there, like I'm gonna kill it.
Like the funny thing is like with in residency, right? Your attending is there like when you round in the morning, when you like see all your patients. Like the intern goes and they pre-see all the patients and they come back, and then you round with the attending and like the whole team, and you're presenting the new info on the patient from overnight.
Yeah.
And then the attending like you like present like what you want to do, and the attending's like, oh, it's a good idea, it's a bad idea, or whatever, and they like and the attending's job is like to like help you learn like why that's a good or bad idea.
Are they tough?
Depends on the attending. Some are like really laid back, some are a little tougher than others, and it's just a personality thing. Pediatrics though, they're generally all nice.
What do you prefer? Like, what kind of
Oh,
instructing?
laid back, absolutely. Like I like on the fly feedback. I like if I did something dumb in that moment, I want you to tell me it's dumb. I don't want you to tell me like at the end of the week and like the overall.
Dude, that's like
I'm
one
like,
of my
let me
biggest
know
things.
that it's dumb now so I don't do it tomorrow.
That's
You know?
what I'd be saying. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
tell me now. I'll fix it, and then we're
Yeah.
good. Like, why wait? Why wait?
I
I
wait
guess
till like
it's
a
like,
formal thing.
yeah, that's silly to me. I feel like you're jeopardizing like what anything, even if it's minor. Like, so it happens at my work sometimes.
Hmm.
Like, my boss is amazing. He's really good at giving feedback right away. But like sometimes like I'll be working with someone else, and they'll like wait and give me like feedback, like wait at the end, like, oh, I wish you had done this. I'm like, then why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah.
I could have done it. I'm new. Like I'm only been working
You
my
just
job
started,
since
right?
April,
Yeah.
and I'm like part time now, part time then. I was full time over the summer, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Like my first like real job in that sense. Like I was like, yo, help me out. So what's Asmageddon? You got
wanna
me.
know now?
You got me.
So I mean, it's like a joke term, but
Yeah,
basically,
obviously.
what happens is, like you spend the summer outside, everyone's playing, having a good time, no one's really sick. But then school starts, and all the kids are trapped in like the same room with each other, and kids just get sick, right? They just like the viruses come flying around, and they're like just colds, right? Like nothing like crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's COVID, there's flu, there's like RSV, there's like rhinovirus, which is like a common cause of the cold. There's a million different viruses can cause the cold, right? And so like the kids go in, they get sick, and they come in. If you have asthma, a lot of times like a virus can like kickstart like an asthma attack, like an asthma exacerbation. And a lot of times these kids need to be like continuous albuterol, which is like the inhaler.
Yeah.
And they'll need stuff like that to like stop breathing like really scarily, you
Mhm.
know. And sometimes they need like a little oxygen support. Sometimes they need some fluids because they're not really eating because they're sick, stuff like that. So like Asmageddon is just it's like a joke term for like October hits, everyone goes back to school, and everyone gets sick, and those with asthma get kicked off, and they start having asthma attacks.
So this happens like yearly, basically.
Yeah, and I would say there's asthma right now in the hospital. In the like Yale is at like the highest capacity it's been in like a long time.
Really?
If history, like I forget exactly, but I think
Maybe
it's
since
like
COVID.
100% capacity and stuff like that. Yeah, but because everyone's like just bronchiolitis and asthma, and bronchiolitis is essentially, it's like basically babies' airways are just not as big enough.
Yeah.
So
The
they're thin.
What's
Bronchioles, yeah, right. So like
bronchioles?
bronchiolitis, basically the airways are so small because they're little. It's just because they're babies. Then when you naturally have a virus, it fills with fluid, but their
Right.
airways are so small that it clogs the holes, and they have issues breathing. So they need just like some oxygen or something. Like we give them this thing called high flow, where we just kind of like force oxygen in, and it's just like a nasal cannula.
Wow.
But stuff like that. But like again, those kids look sick as hell for like 3, 4, 5 days, and then they
Back at it.
and they're like fine and like goofing around and playing, and they just one day they're fine.
Hey, kids bounce.
Kids bounce back, but that's right now in the hospital.
They're like growing, so like they have everything working in their favor. Like that's why like when you get older, like it's like if you're a kid and you like break your hip, you're not gonna then have liver issues. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like but if you're like old, you don't move for a little bit. Like not saying
like
liver specifically, but I'm just saying like anything could happen. Like it's just what happens when you're old. But so that's probably a good thing. I think a lot of people like pediatrics, right? That's like a very common.
It's a popular field, definitely.
Yeah. What's like the least popular field?
I don't know if it's like least popular, but there's certain ones that they just don't have positions. So like, I think everyone has a favorite something. So you could not pay me enough to go, and it's supposed to be the surgeons make the most. You could not pay me enough to go be a surgeon. Right? Like doing that long residency, those crazy hours, and then having to like cut people open, like definitely not my cup of tea.
Yeah, sounds terrible.
Even though they save lives.
I mean,
right?
they make bank.
And they make tons of money. Yes, they make lots and lots of money. But then like pediatrics is actually like the lowest paying specialty of all the things you can go into as a doctor. It's still doctors, right? It's still good money. It's not like bad, but like it's like
what's up with that?
What do you mean?
What's up with that? Why is that?
Why? Because kids bring the least amount of money to the hospital. So the hospital
Same thing with teachers, huh? I assume like they don't get paid as much because it's just like
I think
how you make money off kids.
Teachers are just underpaid.
Yeah,
teachers should be paid a lot more. I mean, like doctors already baseline make a lot of money. But like the things that the hospital pays you more if you do procedures. So like for like the surgery,
for good reason.
big ass procedure, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they make the most. But then like there's other things like intensive care docs who are doing like lines or like trachea stuff or intubations and things like that where like they still bring a lot of money to the hospital, so they tend to make a little more.
Yeah.
Cardiologists do a ton of procedures, so
Do
they
like
make tons of money.
do like say like you're in ICU, like you're mainly in the ICU. Do you make more money, like if you're like in like an intensive care unit like
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
My friend was doing like his like he was like shadowing. I don't know the terms, but he was like working a lot in the ICU, Mike, and he saved a life. Yeah,
Did
he did compressions.
he did CPR?
And he was like, and I remember he came back and like just the smile was like, he was like, dude, like he's like, I wish I got to break the ribs though. I was like, what? It's like, what do you mean you wish you got to break the ribs? But yeah, they tell me the crazy stuff. It's funny because like they'll tell me such. I feel like they're telling me such specific details, and I'm like, oh, like what was her name? HIPAA. So can you say like things like events somewhat?
I could tell stories as long as there's no like identifying.
Do you got like a really cool one, or anything like just interesting?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's just like case by case right now. Like I haven't had any like crazy.
No one's got a tree growing in their belly, like.
You're trying. I'm not telling this.
None of that, you know. That's not.
No. That also wasn't my story. I was told that story.
Yeah, but it's okay.
So like, there could be some like
you never know.
Extrapolation.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. No, I think I've had like fun things. People come to the ED for funny things.
You're just like,
like interesting. Okay. Like stuff put places they shouldn't be.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and we had to like call gynecology to come take it out and stuff like that. Yeah, and we've had like but I have people come in for like crazy things like car accidents and stuff like that, but then I have people come in for got stung by a bee. And there's no treatment. Like comes like, here's an ice pack.
Is that what really? There's no treatment for a
get stung by a bee? No. She wasn't having an allergic reaction. She was literally just stung.
Oh, okay.
And came in with like a welt. And like,
that's strange.
Yeah, she was scared. So
you pay for anything when you do that? Do you pay?
Yeah, unfortunately, if you come to the ED, your insurance gets charged.
Whew.
Yeah, so like I don't know.
So if you get stung by a bee, unless you're allergic, stay out of the ED. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, unless you're worried, if you are concerned about anything, come to the ED.
Obviously,
if you think you should be in the ED, you should go to the ED, no matter what someone else tells you.
Just don't be stupid.
But like. If you like, there are certain things where we're like, and the ED like triages people. So like, if like there's there's like they have a number, and like the more like like not rush to see these people, like you don't need to rush to see these people kind of things. Like they wait a little bit longer, and then there's like people who are rated higher who are like car accidents or not breathing right.
Yeah.
That we're like we rush in there and we like try to help them out.
Yo, I got a friend. He's doing a startup. He's a biomedical engineer.
Okay.
His name is Ethan. He's one of the most fascinating humans I've ever met in my life. Extremely intelligent. He, which is funny because he's like ridiculous. But he's doing this thing. Yeah, he's doing this thing. He's like, I think their company that he's like doing is they're taking vitals, or maybe this is his one of his projects. They're gonna have like small, portable, like easy to take like vital machines.
Cool.
And you could have it like tracking a bunch of things in like their waiting room. I think it's something like that, and like you have the numbers and that helps. But like say someone then crashes or like something then happens when they're in the room that like makes them like that should give them priority, but you can't see it because like whatever, it takes their heart rate and like a couple of vital signs, whatever, and then it would send it to like an iPad behind the desk, and they have like a monitor of all the, and they can like have like
and they do that
emergency
now,
signals.
But it's like you have to be in a room. Like,
Yeah, so this
is like for like the waiting room.
This is like like for even for the waiting room. And I was like, dude, that is a fucking genius idea. And he was like, yeah, it probably won't work out though. And I was like, why?
I think I could see it not working out because like with the acuity of the ED, like I think it could be great. Like some places that could implement it, but like nursing staff is already stretched so thin, and they're the ones that are usually like looking at those vitals. Like if you have a packed ED and a packed waiting room, and you hook everyone up in the waiting room too, who like don't necessarily need to be on it.
Yep.
And like vitals thing are interesting. Like so these kids with like bronchiolitis I told you about, and asthma. Like we hook them up and they're on continuous vitals, and like we're looking at them and like things like even like the amount of oxygen that their red blood cells are bound to like dips, And like while they're sleeping, and like ours, like non-sick people dip while they're sleeping, but they're not hooked up to a machine telling you that.
Yeah, so
So
you
like
kind
parents see that they dip into, like, you want them to be above the 90s. You see a parent sees them dip into like the mid 80s for like 2 seconds and come back up, and they're like, "Oh my god,
My kid's
dying." Yeah, and you're like, "No, your kid's sleeping."
Yeah.
But like they don't know that, and they shouldn't know that. Like, why would
Yeah.
they? But we hook them up, and like there's just so many things that like freak people and parents out more just because they can see it.
Yeah, it's their kid too.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
No, I mean they're all justified in their thoughts, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your expertise on sleep?
Like what, Dan? What is your question?
I don't have any questions. I just want to learn more, and I know you know a lot of shit.
Like, but you have to ask me like just. I don't have a monologue on.
No,
sleep
well, my initial question is like, do you feel as though you have like a decent baseline of sleep knowledge?
Yeah, but they teach you in med school, yes.
Okay. All right. Why do I not remember my dreams? And then why sometimes do I remember like 8 straight nights of dreaming?
And then you dream like a million times. It's like 18 times a night or something like that.
What?
I had to quote that. Yeah, you dream like the whole night, but your brain doesn't save those in working memory.
Do you have any fun let's take off the doctor tag.
Okay.
What do you think is going on when we're sleeping that we don't know about? Like, we don't know why we dream, right? We don't know that shit. They think we're storing information. It's like a bunch of like, and it just like kind of
it's
builds.
like your brain just
builds a
putting stuff
world
together. Yeah.
It's not.
Your brain's an incredible thing.
What do you think we could do with that? What if you could like?
You talk about like the 10% of your brain.
Well, like it's not even. I know
that.
I know it's not true. I know it's not true. I know it's not true. I think that comes from the idea that like.
You think we can teleport?
To hear, like hearing doesn't require 100% of your brain, you know, because it's like a certain part of your brain,
No, it
and so it fires a certain neurons. So I think it's like for each individual thing, it's 10%, but you're using the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that. I mean, maybe not 10% exactly, but like
you're not using your whole brain at every point in time. No.
Exactly. So, but in that way, and like when you're dreaming, you kind of do because like, you'll be like hearing shit, seeing shit, like you're like just living a life in there. Could you like activate that? Like, could you? Isn't that possible theoretically?
Dan, I think if they could, they'd do it by now. It's also like very unethical research. Hey, can you volunteer to sit in the chair as we poke your brain?
Is that Hunger Games? Is that the whistle for it?
I've only seen the first one. I don't know.
Like, what's the whistle?
I don't know.
I only saw the first one.
Movies are okay.
Yeah.
I saw that with Seamus and Devin.
Yeah.
On the Cape. I think we were bored one day.
Yeah. It was okay. It was okay. It really was just okay. Like, I don't know.
Back to the Marvel things because we skipped ahead before I asked you. Did you see The Werewolf by Night?
No, I heard it was really cool though.
It's so good.
I heard it was very unique.
It's like a horror movie.
Really?
It's like gory.
Did you watch Nope?
I haven't seen Nope. I want to see Nope. I haven't seen Nope.
How good is Jordan Peele though? How good is he?
Great. I didn't see the second one he made. Like,
you didn't see Us?
I didn't see. I saw Get Out, which I loved.
Yeah, that's.
And I didn't see the second.
You didn't see Us? First thing you do. The next time you have 2 hours free, you're watching Us.
I'm on vacation the whole week.
This vacation.
I still have to watch Nope.
Nope is really good. It's really good, and it's really unique. Just like he's just a fucking freak. The guy's a freak.
Which is so funny too.
Which is crazy because he was hilarious and so like almost like you felt like very grounded. Like I almost wonder with guys who make like skits like that. I mean, they're genius in their own sense, and they're definitely in tune with reality. But you wonder, are they any deeper? Because comedy's so light, it's made to make you laugh, and like there's not a lot of like deepness to it. And then he comes out with Get Out.
I think he's just like a artistic genius.
So. He's a genius. But Nope is really cool. But I honestly think Us is in my top 5 favorite movies I've ever watched.
I heard it wasn't as good as Get Out though. I'll still watch it. Like I
Get
want
Out.
to watch it.
Hey, Get Out might be top 10 favorite movies of mine. So like, it's not like that far fetched.
What's your favorite movie of all time? Go.
Inglourious Bastards, I think.
Really?
Dude, that first scene when General Hans Landa pulls up and he walks into the house and he is like having that real smarmy conversation, and then he's like, "You're hiding fugitives of the state, are you not?" And like the guy's like knows that shit's about to go down. He's like, Yep, that's the most. I think that builds up the most suspense in my heart. That's one of them. I just say that movie. I don't have a favorite because having a favorite of anything is.
I have
like,
a favorite.
What's your favorite movie?
My Cousin Vinny.
That's a great.
Hands down.
That's a great
It's
movie.
always my answer. It's my favorite movie.
Marissa Tomei's in it.
Oh yeah, not me.
Come on
R.I.P.
now. Yeah, right. Yo, spoiler.
If you haven't seen that movie now,
Then you're an L. Then
Yeah,
you're a loser.
that's
If
on
you
you.
haven't seen it, then it doesn't matter.
that's on you. It came out at Christmas.
Yeah. No, that's true. 6 months removed is the timeline. That's that's a great movie. That's a really good one.
That's hands down my favorite. And the comedy's just like top notch, and it's always good. And
Yeah.
I laugh every single time I see it.
It is always good. That's a great way to describe a movie. Like, cause like some movies like are good for
It's good the first time.
for
The second time you
feelings.
watch it, it's like
yeah, but this is like a movie. That's a movie that you can watch with anyone, anytime. Cause it's not like it's overdone comedy
Yeah.
where like you need to be in a funny mood. Like you can just be you could be in a bad mood and watch
Yeah.
My Cousin Vinny. Straight up, it's
it'll put
that
you in a
good.
mood.
It's
But the
really-
thing is, that's the type of movie that if I'm clicking through channels and it's on, I stop
Always.
and I'm watching it again. Like I could have seen it 2 weeks ago. I'm
yeah,
watching
I don't
it
care if it's
again.
30 minutes in at the very beginning
Yeah.
or 10 minutes left.
Like, and
I'll
I
watch
quote that movie all the time. Like,
Yeah,
how you like your
yeah,
grits?
yeah, how you like
regular,
your grits.
creamy, or al dente.
He's just so funny. He's perfect for the
And
role.
then, but like also Marissa Tomei is awesome in it too. Like,
So
they
good.
What?
They what? Like she's
My
so like
biological clock is ticking.
yeah, they're so like them. They're so them perfectly.
Oh my god,
it's
it's
just
so
like
great.
very well
He's
done.
just
movie.
like so much older than her too.
Yeah.
Because she's like 50 now. Like she's in mid 50s, so she must have been young
20
when that
or
movie
something
came
like
out.
that
Yeah.
time.
The
Wow.
movie came out in like 80s, right?
Maybe early 90s.
I don't think so.
Might have been
Okay.
80s.
I think it was the 80s.
It probably was the 80s.
It looks like the
actually,
80s.
because you're right. My Cousin Vinny release. Don't sleep with my typing. Not 92.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I would have said early 90s, but
Oh, really? Okay. So the 90s. Okay. So maybe not as
it
bad as
feels
I thought.
90s to me because if I don't know, I feel like when I look at it, I 90s quality. When I think of 90s movies, that's kind of the quality I think about. Early, and if it was the late 80s, I completely get it. But like, it was definitely more 90s quality.
I heard it was like so good, like law wise, like legally wise, that
That
like
makes
they
sense.
teach it, they like watch it in law school.
Yeah, actually,
Because it's
I
like
think I've heard
actually
that.
correct in a lot of the.
And plus, it's
don't
fun.
quote me on it. We're gonna ask,
It makes law
ask
fun.
Connie Perry, you know.
Yeah. Well, it makes like law is not necessarily like the most fun, engaging thing at all times.
Depends on who you ask. Our family is pretty law heavy.
No,
so-
but even if you love it, like it can be hard. Like they understand like it's very grueling and it's like
boring to me.
it's just a lot. It's boring. It's boring. Boring. It's like being like a numbers
Because
person.
you think like you're watching TV shows, it's always like murder cases.
Yeah,
and you're
but-
walking, and then you're just like dealing with like
You're like,
boring stuff.
he peed on a traffic cone. Why he peed on a traffic cone? Why are we in the courtroom right now? It's like he won't pay the fine. How much is the fine? $50. You're not paying $50 to make this go away. You missing work today?
Yeah.
You would have made the $50 if you just if you just paid it. That's kind of the type of stuff that happens. What else was I gonna say? I wanted to, because not that like it's towards the end, but like
We ran out of time, dude.
I wanted to talk about more things, so
Go ahead,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
start firing.
Rapid fire. Let's do it.
Music wise, favorite band of all time is Foo Fighters,
Fighters, yep.
obviously. When did
R.I.P.
that start?
A while ago. It's been a couple. I don't know exactly because I liked Nickelback a lot when I was like 12.
Hey, Nickelback is the
I
most
still-
slept on.
I still think they slap, but
They're
like,
good.
They're still good.
Photograph, is that them?
Oh yeah, Photograph. Yeah,
That's a great
Great song.
Who are we kidding?
love that song.
Who's,
Cody hates them, and I learned Photograph on guitar, and I'll like follow her around the house. And then she was like shitting on him. Like we were sitting there, she had a bunch of people over, and I spite purchased the vinyl
Oh
for
my
Photograph. So now I
God.
have like the Nickelback vinyl.
And you
I
just.
play it all the time. It's great.
It's a great song.
I like the band. I think they're slept on.
I think
but
that too.
but like I kind of fell in love with Foo Fighters like after that. I think.
Yeah.
That was your first concert.
It was my first concert.
Because you and Uncle Mike and me. That's like
Yeah,
our
that was
favorite band.
nice. That
We
was
we
fun. That
uh
was very
me,
nice.
Uncle Mike and I bond over them. So
Yeah,
we took you.
they're awesome. They're awesome.
They're
They
really
are
good.
really good. I love
Yeah.
David Grohl.
Yeah, Dave
He's the
Grohl.
guy.
He's drummer for Nirvana.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a
Yeah.
beast. Their drummer passed away.
I
That's so
know.
sad.
I know, Tyler Hawkins. Yeah, Hawkins.
The kid did a great job at that concert. With
That was his
his
son.
son. Yeah,
I
that
know.
was amazing. That must have been such
That
a
must have
cool
been
moment.
tough. Tough,
Right.
dude. I would have been like losing it.
Right. That's so sad. It's yeah, for those that don't know, the drummer died. And then his kid
Taylor Hawkins.
played the drums, and he did a
They did
great job.
It was a memorial concert for him.
Yeah, he did so good. Didn't they cancel like a lot of, they canceled like for like a year.
They were like not, they're like a band that nonstop tours. Like they're always going, and they just stopped the tour when he died. And
That's
now
crazy.
these are just these 2 one-off shows they did for like memorial for him.
Wow.
With like the blessing.
Do you
of his
think they'll
family.
like? No, obviously.
I saw an interview that they
will
will continue, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do because like he's been in the band forever. So.
I think of that as like obviously very different scenarios, but I think of you know how Impractical Jokers don't got Joe no more.
I did hear about that. I know you love that show. I've never been as into it.
It's funny as hell.
What's
but
it like
understand.
without him now?
It just feels. It feels like something's missing. You know, it's just what it feels like. It's kind of like when your favorite team loses their like. It's like when you lose your favorite player. It's like when Ortiz retired from the Sox. Like, have you watched the Sox game since? Like,
I mean, I barely watched when Ortiz was playing.
Yeah, but at least it was like you knew Big Papi.
It was like the Pats about Brady.
Yeah, Brady. It's like Brady leaves. You're like, all right, what's the identity? Like, what's the identity now? Because Joe was the best.
Brady's had better days. So
He's
having a tough year. But.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, what the hell? Like a divorce, like now. I feel like this is a little late.
I think she's a little pissed that he went back.
Yeah, but like, what the fuck? Like, I saw this on Twitter, so I'm not gonna take credit for the joke. He's the first man to get broken up with because he was working. Usually it's because you can't get a job. So, and he's not like, my thing is, I mean, obviously, like, he's probably been saying to her, this is my last year, like 8 times in a row now. But at some point, just say like, hey, I might play till 50. Straight up, he might play till he's 50 years old.
Get broken in half.
But I think at this point, like, he's still retiring 20 years before every other like person would ever retire. So I feel like you're gonna get him for the rest of your life. Like, he'll be with the family. Like, obviously, he's missing some crucial years.
I'm sure there's other stuff.
There's other stuff too as well. But like, I just feel like this was a weird time to do it. 5 years ago, it made sense. But like, this is a weird time to do that. To go through the whole process. And he's gonna play some good football though. I think he's averaged like 380 yards a game since the news broke. So hey, good football. I'm down. They can
pure aggression.
Yeah.
Like the football's heart.
I mean, he's been whipping them iPads too. You see him, the Microsoft Surface Pros. You see him whip them.
I haven't seen it whip them.
He like whips them. Like he's gotten fined because he just grabs the Microsoft Surface Pro, watches the video of him throwing a pick, and then he just whips them at like the desks and like the chairs and shit. I'm like, whoa, all right, Tom, calm down. You're 45. Like,
flip out if you want to flip out.
It is a flip out moment. So, okay, I wanted to hear about the Foo Fighters, but also,
yes,
more rapid fire.
Yeah.
You so you like to make music.
Mm-hmm.
When did that begin, and why?
I think I just started messing around with it. My Zio Frank gave me the guitar.
Zio Frank.
So yeah, shout out Zio Frank.
Shout out Zio Frank.
He gave me the guitar. My mom was mad about it.
She still is.
And I just I wasn't really good. And then I think college started, and I just started playing more. First song I learned was Wonderwall.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then just kind of went from there. I took a lesson in college. I took a class. You could take through like the art school.
You can play.
Play now, yeah.
You can play it up.
After Pops passed, that's when I wrote my first song.
Yeah. Dude, how many songs have you written in your life?
Right now, 6.
6. Do you feel like there's 6 complete full, or do you feel like it's 6 songs like?
They're done.
They're like done.
Yeah.
Fully done.
I've played them live.
How many do you have like ideas of, or?
Not much. I had 5.
We work differently. Me and you work differently for sure. Dude, you should see my notes.
Yeah, I'm sure you have plenty of notes. Yeah, no, I wrote 5 like when I worked, like after college, before med school, when I was like working as the bouncer.
Yeah.
It is. That's when I wrote a lot of the stuff because I could play it there. And then I wrote nothing. And then I wrote another song right before like the wedding.
Right.
That was the last one.
Right.
And that's it. I have the 6 now.
Like I guess my equivalent would be like writing stand up. I still haven't done it yet.
You should do it.
But I will, because I have like. It's like.
Why don't you do it? I'm sure your school has something.
There's so many. I have
like
so many things. They're all probably awful.
Dan, you're graduating in like a couple months.
I ain't scared. I ain't gonna do it for UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell mean nothing. Nah,
But
don't
that's
mean
a
nothing. I like this
good
place.
starting one though.
I want to just go to a
That's
random...
where I did my first one. I did it at BU.
At the school?
Yeah, it was like a basement show. It was like an open mic night I went to.
Interesting. Maybe I'll check out the school. See what the school got. School don't got much though here. Like it's
Yeah,
mostly
but-
just like it's like go to class, go home. That's
I'm
kind
sure
of how
that-
this place works.
I'm sure there's like there's something.
They actually put a stage out in front of the rec center.
Okay.
They did it over the summer. They put a stage in front of the rec center.
Has
I
there been
don't know
anything
what
there?
it's for. I don't know why, because we have
Just
yet to
hanging
have anything there, and we're here for the entirety of the fall.
Yeah.
In this winter. In Lowell in the winter, you're not stepping outside unless you're
You
trying
don't
to get
come to
from-
Lowell in the winter.
You don't.
Unless you actually have to.
So really, seriously. So yeah, it's like it's gonna be disgusting up until what, like May? Couldn't have an outdoor concert till May. So I was like, why are you even putting a stage for next summer? Like it's just like weird to me.
Do you guys get acts?
I know. Like,
Have you
I've
ever
never
had,
seen.
like,
I mean, no,
someone
we
cool?
get at the Songus Center. We get some
Yeah.
really good concerts at the
Right.
Songus Center because it's like a really nice venue, a pretty nice venue.
It was good.
It's good. I
Let's go see
saw Young Thug
Hockey
there.
games. The Lowell Lock Monsters back in the day.
The Lowell Lock Monsters.
That's
The
what they were
Lock-
called.
That's disgusting.
What are they called now? It's
We
gone.
were called the Loch Ness.
No.
Monsters?
It was like they had like the farm league
Oh no.
hockey team. Is it
I
gone
don't
now? They
know.
don't have one now.
I
do
know.
they?
I only know the farm league baseball team. That
Spinners.
was the Spinners. I went to a couple Spinners
Yeah,
games.
the Lowell Lock Monsters. We used to go all the time, dude.
Really?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
The
It was
Loch
great.
Monsters. That's crazy. Now we just go to we just go to the UML hockey games because those kids are good. I had two buddies in my class. Shout out. I don't know if they don't watch, but they're too busy being in the NHL. They got drafted. They
Oh,
got
really?
signed to the Montreal Canadiens. Like
Damn.
both of them. So one's a goalie, one's a forward, and they both went. And he scored, and the forward scored in his first minors. They're in like the low level. They
Yeah,
probably
like-
won't make it too far. We'll
That's
see
still
though.
really cool.
One of the goalies' name. Ready?
I'm ready.
Owen Savory. The
That's
guy's
great.
last name was Savory.
That's awesome.
Saves. That's what they call him. And like that's actually what his nickname would be, Saves. And then like he's making saves, like, and but yeah, they were great guys. They were in one of my classes. I just so happened to sit behind them, and so I got paired up in
Good
groups with
buds.
them. And then I just was looking at their bags and like their hats, and I was like, "You guys play hockey?" And they were like, "Yeah, bro. We're starting on the team, pal, brother." And I was like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" They're like, "Toronto, kid." And I was like, "Oh no, nah, they're actually really good dudes. Though. They're really funny."
Speaking of hockey, I accidentally bought tickets to the home opener for the Bruins.
How'd you
I
accidentally
didn't
buy
know it
that?
was the home opener, and I thought
You were just buying tickets.
I just bought because it's the only weekend.
How
I'm
much
here.
were they?
I paid a lot of money. And so I'm like, but I was like, wow, the Bruins got real expensive, and I paid the money because Cody's never been to a Bruins game.
Oh, really?
like, I
hey,
tried to-
but you know what though? I think that
We're
works
going
out
to go.
beautifully.
I tried to do it last year, and then the whole team got COVID, and they canceled the game.
Yeah. Oh
So-
my god.
So like she hasn't been able to go. So we're like, oh, I'll go. I'm home this weekend. What game are they playing? They're playing like the Coyotes, I think, and
That's so funny. The
And so-
17th, maybe.
yeah, it's
18th?
Saturday. Yeah, and
It's
so,
a Saturday. Wow.
And so
That's
like
nice.
I'm going, and Lewis is like, yo, that's the
the
home
opener.
opener. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
I was like,
the
no wonder I
home
sold my
opener.
foot to go.
Yeah, because they played yesterday. I watched it. I was
Yeah, they
like,
played Wednesday. That's what I thought. That was. I was like,
I was
the
like,
season's
I was
done.
like, am I gonna be a hockey fan this year? I watched the first period and I was like, nope. I did make a hockey fantasy team.
Why?
No clue.
But basketball's your sport.
I have a fantasy
You-
basketball team
okay.
too, and a fantasy football team.
I'm sure.
Dude, my fantasy football team. Like I'd go
Are
give
you
all
winning?
these
Do you
guys.
guys have a crazy bet? Like
We don't have a losers one. I've been dying. I've been telling them like, guys, because there's guys that go like, oh, you start 0-4, like,
Yeah.
you might just pack it in. Like you don't want to make any more trades. Like you just kind of stop playing. Like
Mhm.
that ruins it.
Mhm.
Because we should have everyone fighting to not be last. Because then everyone's playing every week, no matter what. Even if you are the loser, you don't want to be the loser. Because I want to make someone go take the SATs after getting drunk. I know I ain't gonna lose, so it don't matter to me. I know I ain't coming in last. There's no way. So I was like,
You're like
yo,
Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover with the math.
yeah, no, I'm a wizard. I've made the playoffs every year. I've won it. I'm gonna win it this year for sure. Like my team's disgusting. So then so what was I gonna say? What I want to do is have them get really hungover and then go take the SATs the next morning.
I love how you say this because you know you don't drink.
I just think that'd be hilarious because I ain't gonna have to do it. Like I'm nice. I don't lose. So they'll do that, or I want to make them do an open mic night, but have me write the jokes, and then they gotta go perform my jokes.
I went like it was a friend's boyfriend did that.
That shit's funny because I'd put.
He actually did good though.
I'd put terrible jokes.
Oh, you'd be mean.
Yeah, I'd probably put some racist stuff too.
You probably would, yeah.
Just to make them look really bad.
Really bad. You ever see Saturday Night Live with like Michael Che and what's their name?
Oh,
and they write each other's
They go
jokes.
back and forth. That is the funniest.
So funny.
That's one of the best skits.
Because Michael Che always writes Colin Jost's like super racist jokes.
Yeah, Colin Jost he does as much as he can though to get him back, but like in the end, like he can just my favorite part about it is when like Colin will say something. He'll be like, yeah, there was a bunch of men standing outside, and they got arrested for what? All they were doing was wearing pointed hoods, and then like he'll look down, and then Michael Che will be like, he gives him that face. He's like, all right, Colin, whatever you say. Like, I know Colin made Michael Che read something about like molesting kids. Yeah. That's the best stuff that SNL's done in forever.
I think that's my favorite thing they do because like I pay attention sometimes, but that's hands down my favorite thing.
I rarely do, but
the Weekend Update is my favorite part.
They're really funny. Like when they let them like really like go out there, because nowadays like you kind of can't. Mm-hmm. And I understand that like these guys have careers, like they don't want to do it either. I don't think it's just like the industry's getting them. I don't think these guys really want to be out there. That's why they're breaking character every time they say one of these jokes. Like it kind of takes a little bit of the punch out of it. Yeah. I think it'd be really, really funny if they just like meant it. Like, that would be really good. But they gotta pull the punch. But that's okay. Everyone's gotta make money. Okay.
Any more rapid fire questions you want to ask?
I think I just needed to cover a little bit of music. We've covered movies. We've covered you being a doctor. We did cover a little bit of the wedding. We'll talk about that for a second. What's it like to be married? You're now married.
I don't know. I feel like Cody and me have been like married forever at this point. It's like we still live together now. I just gotta wear a ring.
I say this a lot. It's kind of like sleeping, or getting married. Anything really that you do that like you felt like you were doing before. The way you sleep is just like pretending to sleep until you fall asleep. Mm-hmm. You gotta fake like you're sleeping. That's kind of what being married. You have to like you're like being married. All you're doing is just saying it now.
Yeah,
there's no.
That's
real
basically
difference.
what it is. Because we've been living together for like 3 years.
Yeah, so you're already there.
It's kind of funny. She's already like made like best friends with all my co-residents. So like she hangs out with them like without me.
She's so pleasant. She's just like the most pleasant human.
Yeah, she changed her name. She's officially O'Donovan.
That is Cody Odie.
Yeah, she's Cody Odie.
That's a shame. For that poor girl. She is
she's one of us now.
Her name rhymes, and that's tough.
She got rid of her middle name. She deleted it. I told her she should pick Jody.
What was it? That was good.
Cody Jody Odie.
Cody Jody Odie. What was it? What was her middle name?
Lee.
Lee. Cody Lee. Like
she was Cody Lee Smith.
What's the actress from Freaky Friday? And Halloween.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee. She's kind of like Jamie Lee.
I guess. But Cody she didn't like the middle name, so she dropped it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So she's just like my mom, no middle name.
That's fire, though. You're kind of a gangster. I think I might just get rid of my first name.
Just gonna be Michael?
No. I'll get rid of the first and middle.
Just O'Donovan?
Just O'Donovan. That'd be sick. There's an NBA player, and guess what his name is?
Devoin Shower Handle.
No. Good sketch. Nene.
Nene, like
Nene, and he has no. I don't even know if it's his first or last. There's no first or last. It's just Nene.
That's it.
That's it.
Cool.
It's
sick. Like Ocho Cinco changes name to his number.
Yeah, which just means 8'5", right?
Yeah, it doesn't mean 85. It's Ochenta y Cinco.
Ochenta y Cinco. It's 85. How are you gonna put that on a jersey? I get it.
Why would you put it on a jersey in the first place?
Because he's like that.
You're not dealing with the prime issue. You're going for a subsequent issue.
He's like that. He's like that. You know, he used to call his coaches at 3:00 in the morning and say, "I'm open." This is the guy we're dealing with. Yeah. He'd be like, "Coach, I'm open right now. I'm open." They're like, "Go to bed." All he did was eat McDonald's, and he was one of the healthiest players like in the world. He was like technically like he looks like a beast. He looks so beautiful, and he ran like a 4.4. He does, and he was nasty. He has some of the best receiving stats, but they won't put him in the Hall of Fame because he was a bit of an issue. Like for them, image-wise, like, he do a lot of celebrating.
That's
and,
right.
He was very just very like flamboyant. About
Didn't
himself.
Key and Peele made a whole sketch based off like him getting like crazy fine for everything, right?
The pumps.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of based on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did the pumps, but he
3 pumps.
someone did it in the NFL.
Did they?
They got fined. He did this 4 times, and they said that was too much, so they fined him. Yeah, running back for the Lions, it happened. They were like too many pumps. That's what like they said on Bleacher Report. I was like, oh my god, Keem Pure, they're legends. No, Ocho Cinco wore a. He scored a touchdown. It was like his whatever touchdown. He like put him in like the top 5 in like every receiving category. He's one of the best. He's like one of the best to do it. And he went to the sideline and he like went over to like his like personal guy and he gave him a jacket, and the jacket said future Hall of Famer like 20 and then like put like 2 question marks. And then like they were like, why'd you do that? Like why what made you think of that? He's like, well, they ain't gonna put me in, so I need to put myself. I gotta induct myself. They're like, they ain't gonna put you in. He's like, hell nah. I talked to them already. I was like, all right. He's funny. Okay. Last thing I'll stop with. I got one last question.
Got it.
So we talked in December, before all the madness broke, before the doctor, before the wedding, before the move, before all of it. If you now could talk to you then, what are some things you'd say? Or what is something you'd say?
Oh, we're going deep for the last question.
Yeah. This is the only question I prepared, actually.
It's actually the one you wrote down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll work out.
It'll work out?
Yeah.
Sometimes, those 3 words.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's a lot going on. And you don't know what the answer is to a lot of stuff, and where I was moving was one of them. And stuff like that. But it worked out.
It'll all work out.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's it.
Alex, how long do you feel like we've been going for?
Like 3 hours.
Was this that taxing?
No, it was fun. It was good to talk to you again.
Yeah,
Daniel never calls me.
I don't call anybody.
So
it's not.
We don't catch up a lot.
Honestly, if I could, but hey, I don't call anybody.
My one rule when he was my best man was to make sure he answered my texts.
I did a great job.
He did good job.
I didn't do perfect, but I did a great job. For me,
he made the effort.
I did everything I could. I was like, dude, I checked my phone. I had reminders on my phone to check it, like at least once every 2 days. So
I barely texted you too. It was like one off.
It was just in case though, but I needed to be checking it because I would be forgetting them. I'll get like a message on a different platform from someone that texts me and be like, "Yo, answer me," and I'm like, "Oh." And
you answer phone calls.
I do. I do a great job with the phone calls. If you call me, I got you, or at least I can I'll text you from there.
Yeah.
But texts just, I don't know what it is. I see them. I'll even respond in my head sometimes. I'm like, yeah, totally, and I'll just move, but. What are you going to do? All right, so it has been an hour and a half.
Okay.
By the way.
Down.
We're going to go to Tessie's roast beef.
Okay.
Do you like roast beef?
Sure.
Could you eat like a mountain of a roast beef?
I could probably put it down, yeah.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if you could.
Guess we're going to Tessie's.
Are you ready to try this roast beef?
Let's do it.
All right, Alex, how was your experience in the podcast?
Beautiful. Been excited.
This was fun?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm glad we got it done. We experimented.
We'll come back when you get some new lights.
Yeah, new lights, and apparently this is fucking upside down. Who cares? All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
like,
everyone.
subscribe, all that nonsense. Thank you.